Welcome to another video. My name is Jean-Michel, and today we're going to be talking about Saturn's transit into Pisces beginning March 7th and going until May 2025, so 2.5 years of Saturn in Pisces. It's going to be a very existential and philosophical transition, and the main theme, I believe, is going to be how are we creating as a society, but also in ourselves, healthy boundaries. Because Pisces is all about no boundaries. It's about experiencing all the different possibilities of life and to not cast judgment upon one, seeing them all as interconnected. Wherever Saturn is transiting is creating restrictions, boundaries, and barriers to that experience of that sign. So I believe we're going to be seeing a lot of introspective analysis over the founding philosophies of our society. What have we been permitting in our lives and as a society that are no longer serving us because we did not put the reins on them? There were no regulations on them. We didn't put a healthy barrier between one experience to the other. When things are flowing too much, there is risk of excess. So I think now that we're having Saturn in Pisces, there's going to be a reining in of the excess that people have been experiencing. And this excess has to do with excess material experience, excess acceptance of certain ideas and certain philosophies that aren't serving the concrete movement of society forward into a healthy direction. So I think this is going to have a lot to do with the moral implications of how people treat their finances, people having unregulated spending in their personal lives, but also governments spending without restriction. And Pisces has a significance with money because Pisces is water, and it's a water sign, and it's also symbolized by the ocean. And when we talk about money, we're often using water terms: currency, current, the cash flow, putting money in a bank, putting money in the side on the bank, a bank of a river, frozen assets, liquid assets, etc. There are many words that we use. So there's going to be a pullback and restriction to the flow of money in general. And this will be controlled. The financial powers will be honing in the ability for people to spend money in ways of creating the new system of money being established are the central bank currencies. And central bank currencies will have very tight restrictions on how you can spend the money, and you can't save the currencies. They eventually expire. So central bank digital currencies being brought in over the long haul, over the next 2.5 years, I believe we'll be seeing the implementations of this new financial regulation. I think June 17th, July 5th is a time where the practical implications of this will come into view. Specifically, the end of June 28th to July 2nd, when the Sun is trining Saturn, will be a time when there will be authorities taking very strong interest in further restricting the availability of being able to send money throughout the world. We're also going to be seeing the debate and people's understandings, coming to the understanding of how human creativity is experiencing restrictions, and how artificial intelligence is being used to limit human creativity, because of the ease of access to having a computer write out a response to a search for knowledge, or being able to write articles, or being able to design images. So artists having a restriction put on them because they are now being in competition with artificial intelligence. So what are the philosophical implications of human creativity with new technologies being brought in this way? And we're also going to be seeing moral restrictions and barriers being put onto children as a response to the excess that children have been experiencing, the excessive use of the internet causing depression, the excessive use of medications being prescribed to children causing wide-ranging negative effects on the growth of children. I think we're going to be seeing a calling for people to start to put more barriers around the experiences of children as a response to having realized that they've been given too much freedom of experience. And this is Saturn putting a restriction on the excesses of possibilities that Pisces represents. So these different ramifications, I believe, will be happening. And so in your own life, think about the different areas of life where you've experienced too much excess, where healthy boundaries will help you create restrictions that allow you to build something in your life over the long period of time that's healthy. Because that's what a healthy Saturn does. And Saturn can actually be the planet that gives us the most happiness, the deepest happiness, because it's after a long time of building towards something that we get this deep satisfaction of, yeah, I built that and it took me a long time to do, but it was satisfying because all of the experience that were put into building that, no one can take away. And so Saturn building over the long haul is able to make something, it's able to make a person very successful, but it has to have discipline attached to it. The day in and day out commitment to doing something long term. And so with Saturn moving into Pisces, having a commitment to living a life, creating a philosophy and a purpose that does not promote excessive experiences. Because when we have too many excessive experiences, we're escaping into anything possible that we can choose to do. Having too many choices is a problem of an unhealthy Pisces. So I think society now is going to be experiencing this pullback in experiences. There's not going to be as much, there's going to be kind of a push towards scarcity, and that scarcity doesn't have to be negative. It can be very positive because it helps hone in on what's absolutely necessary for your life, and creating a boundary that is able to help you remain focused on specific, the most important things in your life. Lack of boundaries creates distractions, it creates escapism, it creates indecision. So people who are not dealing with this transit very well are going to be indecisive on where they want to take the next step in their life. They're going to be not dealing with hardships as well because they can always escape into another experience. With Saturn here in Pisces, we want to hone in our concrete world and use only what's absolutely necessary and become less accustomed to the free flow of everything all the time and having access to too many things that end up being distractive and can end up being very destructive to us. Okay, thank you. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the chat. And if you want to discuss the transits that are going to be happening in your chart with Saturn in the next 2.5 years, please contact me at my website, JM Vedic, and we can do a reading together. Okay, thank you.